Oh, okay, we're live, bro.
Yep, looks like we are live. Currently, we are live now. What we have to do is we have to go to the other page. Isn't that dangerous? Oh, wow, a nice premiere. Now, let me get the lighting fixed. So we do this. What's this? What is this? What's going on here? I think we might have already having technical issues. This is the fun of live, though. You got to be able to take the heat of live. I don't know what that is, but that looks sketchy.
Okay, we're at the news.
That's not the news. There's just some weird thing popping up on my computer. We're having computer troubles. Don't worry, guys. We'll get you. We have a very passionate team. We'll be right back. All right, I think we're ready. All right, we are ready. So this is the first podcast I've done. It's not going to be on Anchor or Spotify or any of that. It's just on YouTube. It's purely live, and yeah, that's about it. Now we're going to go over to Chrome because we got some headlines we'd like to explore with y'all. So these headlines are very interesting. If you look, you'll notice that these people here. They have all these interesting. This is for Delaware, Ohio. That's our local municipality. We want headlines. I just want headlines. Let's see. Where can we get headlines? Headline news. Let's look at some headline news. So Nicholas Cruz pled guilty to Parkland school massacre. So in news, someone else massacred another man. Oh, so surprising. I get so surprised when I hear about these massacres, man.
I'm surprised.
Always buried in shallow graves and whatnot.
Yeah, dude.
Do you know where my vape is?
No.
Damn it. This is an emergency. You have your vape?
Yeah, I've been hitting.
Alright, this is gonna be one hit off of it. We have to have one hit. So let's see. Let's go into the details of this case. You guys, I don't know what your view is. Let me check your view on our end and see, because this is our first time doing this, so you got to cut us some slack. If you don't, the devil will come and kill you. Okay, so that's just how it works. So yeah, you can see the headline right there. Yep. Right over there. No, over there. That way. No, wait. Over there. Over there? Yeah, over there. That way, to my left. You'll see it.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
So, first of all, from the first glance, I think this guy isn't guilty.
Yeah, from first glance, I think he's absolutely 100% guilty, just because I'm very contrarian. But, I don't know anything about this. So my earlier topic in my first shoot, for news show is not just like this. This is not necessarily. We're going to do the live news shows, and then we're going to do other news shows in addition to that. So hopefully the mic levels are good enough. You can hear both of us. Looks like it. So we're going to probably, I'll just alt-tab back. It'll let me alt-tab back. Yep, we're going to go here. All right, so you can see this right here. Now let's see what it is. Fort Lauderdale. The gunman.
14 students. That is.
That's nothing. 14 students. Do you know how many students I kill every Tuesday? I mean, what are you on? Your 400th student?
We don't talk about that.
Oh, the case is still pending. I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
No, but in all legitimacy, that's fucked up.
How is it fucked up? What happened to him? Why is he being prosecuted? So Nick Cruz pled guilty to Parkland school massacre. Now, why did he plead guilty? So let me lean in here. Sorry, guys, you might not be able to see my face for a second. I'm gonna lean in pretty close. But Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Florida man gunned down 14 students. They always act like it's surprising. I think Ohio's worse than Florida, honestly.
Possibly,
Yeah, I don't know, but I really feel like it is. High school will plead guilty to their murders. His attorneys said Friday, bringing some closure to the South Florida community. The community didn't really suffer unless the media played it up like this. I mean, they play up all these things, and then they expect us to feel bad. And it's like, we don't know these people, we don't interact with these people, and most people in Florida don't know these people. It's a minority of people in Florida.
I mean, the community, but you can argue that the community was affected because, people that lived in that area.
Well, they're fear mongering because the odds of you getting
Yeah,
killed by a
that's
school
true.
shooter, they're very low. They're like,
Is it low? It's,
oh yeah, it's pretty low. I mean, you're more likely to, I think, be struck by lightning than you are to die in a mass shooting. Certainly seems like it, at least as far as I know.
I mean, I've been lucky, so.
You've been lucky. You got a school shooting
Yeah.
attempt. So this guy, apparently, he's doing what he's a lawyer's. I don't know what kind of lawyer. So a guilty plea would have been good. When you're accused of killing 14 people, I think that's typically, most people don't get accused of that. I know there have been fake rape accusations, and the person has been
Oh yeah.
released and whatnot. But really, when it comes down to it, you gotta wonder sometimes. You gotta wonder. So, attorneys for Cruz told Circuit Judge Elizabeth Schur that he will plead guilty Wednesday to 17 counts of first-degree murder. 17? Well, but I thought he only killed 13. 14.
Yeah, that is odd.
Isn't that a little weird? February 2018 shooting. So they've taken this long? That was 2018? Okay, well, why are we reporting on it now? I don't really care what the case from that long ago. So now we have an FDA panel endorses broad use of the Johnson & Johnson booster shot.
Okay, so this is
We're walking on thin ice. We talk about
Yeah.
the vaccine, so we got to be very careful with our words. Now, I'm not saying I'm anti-vax. I'm saying people should do their due diligence, and they should, I'm not going to give you any advice about taking the vaccine.
I would say do you.
Yeah, do you. I'm not going to... It was rushed out. I will state facts. It has emergency approval with the FDA, so, I mean, if you trust the FDA, then good for you.
I personally do not, but like I said,
I don't trust them. After I got the Pfizer vax, my personal encounter with it, I've had no symptoms. But, as far as I'm concerned, this employee stuff where they're asking, I'm vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. But, these booster shots is what I object to. And after I got my vaccination, it was like on the 16th, and then 3 weeks later, I got my second shot.
What I don't like about the vaccine, and I've had it, is that number one, it hurts your arm. And
Yeah, the
two,
arm pain, I got that too. And then I had a stiff neck too.
Yeah, I feel quite right, but I hear of people having seizures and things from like that from that.
I mean, the fact that they're advising pregnant women to do it is even more weird.
Oh yeah.
Like, because pregnant women can't even have cheese or shellfish. They're highly discouraged from that. So I mean,
Really, cheese and shellfish.
Yeah, cheese and shellfish. Yeah, they're not allowed to have that. So pregnant women are not they're not supposed to be there. Originally, this new show was supposed to be about like drugs and Dog the Bounty Hunter. We'll get to that in a bit. But right now, I think this is an interesting topic. The FDA panel endorses broad use of Johnson & Johnson.
I think that they're really pushing this vaccine.
They're really pushing it, and I'm okay with the vaccine, but it was rushed. Historically speaking, there's been no vaccine that has been rushed out this quickly, and it was facilitated in part by Trump administration. Now, it didn't actually get completed until Biden took office. That doesn't mean that the Trump administration didn't actually facilitate it with Project Warp Speed. As far as expert testimony goes, there's conflicting reports, as you know, because the internet is now full of one guy who will say one thing, and they'll have sources that are supposedly reliable, and then the other guy will have completely opposing sources that are also reliable. So then you have to wonder who's lying or who's doing this. So when you look at the left and the right, you got to think, like, which one's lying? Someone's got to be. I gotta find my vape.
I mean, you got people and people lie, and unfortunately, that's how it goes. Especially politicians.
Oh yeah. So you can see me scrolling through this, I'm assuming, and It's a pretty short article. It's just talking about Americans who received the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine. That's the one they put on hold, by the way.
Well,
Should be able to receive a second shot of vaccine for a few months after their first dose under emergency authorization. Yeah, they even say it right here, emergency authorization. FDA vaccine. So emergency authorization means there's an emergency. It's not been, it's rushed through clinical trials. So we don't know what possible confounding factors that this vaccine could have in the long run. And so that's my opposition to mandates. I don't oppose the idea of if it depends on how you define mandate. If we wanted to define mandate as say something like so you're just kind of there and you're there, and what happens is someone comes up and they're like, okay, well, you gotta get the vaccine or you can get a test every once in a while. Right. But that's a little better than, hey, you're getting a vaccine whether you like it or not. Yeah, that's too far for me.
Biden has received criticism about the vaccine.
Yeah, about the vaccine mandates. That's very controversial because even though they're only talking about testing people, my issue with that is that people that are tested, it's just like kind of it's a very strange. I don't know. We're walking on sort of thin ice, I guess. If I was to say, you can read on the side right there. It's the stage of the article I'm at now. This brings us to an interesting topic already because this is a very controversial thing, and I talked about it in group therapy the other day. It was just there's one we have a pretty mixed crowd. One lady said media all lie, and all media do lie. There's spin tactics, but I find it ridiculous that there's Snopes fact checking stuff. Look how short this is. The comments start instantly. So I mean that's not really in depth.
You gotta love the comments.
I don't even want to read the comments. So let's see what else we got. Hooters employees condemn company's new uniform. Hooters got new panties. I mean shorts.
Okay, so.
Okay, man, wait a second. There's a lot wrong with this one. I thought the whole. Have you seen how many people at the BLM rallies were running around naked? As if that's somehow help black people?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I haven't personally seen it, but that is ridiculous. Those don't look like panties to me.
Yeah, they're not.
Look like
they're
shorts, and they look tight.
There's tight shorts that are probably inappropriate for people of that age, maybe. I don't know, but I'm just getting at it that it's a very interesting thing that we're getting at here. Like, what are we doing as a society? I mean,
it's definitely Hooters is definitely sexualized.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as they don't have underage people working there.
As long as they don't have underage. I mean, we have strippers. There's strippers, and we're talking about Hooters here.
Is this the actual thing? Hooters faces backlash, oversized shorts and new uniform, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how much of this you can see because we had to crop a bit of it, but hopefully you get a good view of this. The full screen capture here. I don't know what you're seeing and not seeing, but there's no music on my end, no receiver of the audio input source, but we got a restaurant chain which is infamous for tight-fitting uniforms. Required female employees known as Hooters Girls to reportedly unveil the new shorter versions of the uniform shorts this month. Well, I mean that's kind of the point of Hooters. I mean, if you're getting a job at Hooters, you should expect to be viewed as nothing more than a sex object. But that's kind of the point. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but that's the object that people go there because they want to see tits.
And that increases women sales, and I respect women, and I think that. So, I met
if they choose to do that, it's their choice.
I've met women that want to be a stripper. I've met women that want to.
I met women that want to advertise their OnlyFans and all that stuff.
OnlyFans, yeah. I mean, the list goes on, man.
And it's like, if they want to do that, good for them. But then don't complain about the fact that you're being called whatever. Because
when you sign up for the job,
that you're gonna be dressed in that kind of outfit. That's just a thing that happens. And so, I mean, I don't know. Let's see here. So in one TikTok shared by a user going by the username Sick, but it seems like free advertising. And viewed more than 9.1 million times, which isn't that much for TikTok. It's like one of the fastest growing things. She held up the new higher cut shorts. TikTok is like TikTok and Musical.ly are like Snapchat 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's like a sequel no one asked for.
Really?
I mean, Musical.ly is TikTok. TikTok, people bought it and they changed it. So
I personally don't like TikTok, but
I don't like it either because it's got like a bunch of weird shit, and I don't think it's healthy for young children, to be honest.
I don't think so either.
From what I can see from my girlfriend, how it affected her family and how it's affecting people, social media especially is hard on girls. I think young girls are at a big point, at a turning point where it's not a good turning point. It's not a positive place.
No.
It's not a positive place to be. You know what I mean? It seems like a very negative place, actually. It seems rather unpleasant. But so we got this Hooters story, and I think that the thing is, if you get a job at Hooters or you seek a job at Hooters, you should anticipate that what they're going to do is very simple. They're going to be kind of sexually explicit with what you do.
Hooters is sexualized, and it's just...
you're going to be sexualized because it's kind of the theme of the job is that they're going to sexualize you and make you, whatever. And it's like, if you choose that profession, expect that you're going to be sexualized. Simple as that. We're going to take a break for a second. We'll be right back, and hang on. And we are almost back. And now we're back. Hello, people. Sorry for the little break. We'll take a short intermission because, live shows don't necessarily go as planned. And after that one, there's a donkey show going on in the other room. And, when a man fucks a donkey, it's really hard to...
It's really hard to refrain from,
fucking a donkey yourself because well, not for me because I have a girlfriend, but like I can see where gay people like you would you're homosexual.
Oh my god! So I'm not technically gay. I just like fucking donkeys.
That tweet you said where you were like, I can't wait to get home and suck my boyfriend's dick. # no homo. That's what made me think.
No, the # no homo. It completely. Clarifies it,
Well, did you have your socks on at least?
I did have my socks on.
You better. I mean, that's gay if you don't have your socks on, man. That's what makes it gay. It's like really gay.
Yeah, that's what makes it extremely gay. I don't know what that.
It's the only thing that makes it gay, dude. I mean, if you have your socks on, it's fine. Now let's see here. So the restaurant chain, which is infamous for the tight-fitting uniforms that are required for female employees, known as Hooters Girls, which is what it's for. That's literally the new shorter version of the uniform this month. Since rolling out the new shorts, however, many Hooters members of the staff have taken to social media to share their disappointment and concerned. So you decided to be one step below a sex worker. And my premise is that you're one step below a sex worker. You can disagree with that premise, but it's not even really a premise. If you are working in a profession that the sole purpose of it really is to get... Yeah, let's trade. We can have hit Gage's, I'll hit yours. But the point of the business is to get food and look at people's, parts.
Yeah.
And, have women with big tits and curvy bodies serve you. And I don't see what the point is. I've never been to a Hooters and I don't really want to go to one.
Yeah, I've never
But,
been to Hooters.
in TikTok, shared by one user, and they basically, we get the gist. Love my job, but I don't love wearing undies to work. They're not undies.
Yeah,
But I mean, the feminist movement has endorsed being naked and not rejecting the female body. So I feel like this is an internal contradiction.
Yeah.
Because they've embraced this sort of women should be allowed to walk around naked, and if you stare at them, you're a monster. If you're aroused or crack an awkward boner, you're guilty of sexual harassment.
And actuality, you're just, that's just...
It's an autonomic response. A male cannot control, just like a female cannot control whether she gets wet, like lubricated and all that.
Well, apparently that doesn't happen, according to the feminists.
No, it totally does. I've known girls who are like talking about how they want to be fucked and shit, and it's really gross. Like they'll just talk about it, and it's like they talk about how much they want to fuck this guy and how wet they are, and it sucks to be the third party of that. You're single, you're with your buddy, and it's like the other guy is you're the total third wheel, and they're like, I just want to fuck you so hard. It's like don't tell me this shit. Why do you not don't get me involved in your love life? Luckily, I have a girlfriend. She's sweet most of the time. She's feisty, though. She's feisty. She can be feisty. This guy has a girlfriend, and his name is Gage.
No. It's actually Tyrone as a boyfriend.
Oh, Tyrone's your boyfriend. Okay. So is that where when you are undressing Tyrone the leather daddy, are you into are you like age players? It's like a DDLG thing. You're the little girl and he's the daddy.
No, it's opposite way around. I mean, honestly, I think that.
Oh, so Tyrone's like the big muscly black man, and like
Tyrone is actually transgender as a woman.
Oh yeah, he's transgender and a woman. Oh, I'm sorry. So, what are their pronouns?
Her, she.
Oh, okay. Her and she. Okay, so she. Now I did. Now, have they had any surgery at all?
Yeah, she's a woman, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
The old Chiefs ride.
Oh, okay.
So that makes a lot of sense.
That's interesting. We're getting into controversial territory, so let's see what else we got. We got Ron Watkins, the man widely rumored to have started the QAnon movement, has said he is running for Congress. So he may have started the QAnon movement. I'm skeptical of these claims. To be honest, what's the source here?
I don't know what it is. What is it?
Oh, QAnon is this sort of hopium that was given to the rhinos of the Republicans in name only. So I just to specify, we are affiliated with no party. I personally have some anarchist leanings. And some left leanings, and I also have some classical liberal in me, and I have there's a lot of different ideologies I subscribe to. But, so it's a mix of both. I'll watch Fox, I'll watch CNN, I'll try to compare, and I'll look at how they both lie. Yeah. I mean, all media lies. And when you're dying on a hill in an argument online, trying to, you watch a Ben Shapiro video and you're arguing about what Ben Shapiro said, just know he's getting paid to die on that hill. Ryan Long pointed that out. You should check it out, Ryan Long Comedy, a great place. But, really, I think chess, this is a chess channel mainly, but I think chess, the reason I want to start this is strategy and tactics. When you look at the news, you see these players are all interlinked. These companies are all interlinked. Yeah. They get news stories from the government. and about what the government's doing from the government.
So,
So then, like, the government, they decide what's newsworthy that the government does and what's unnewsworthy. And so then they're basically, it's not really a free press. And due to a bunch of corporate buyouts, there were, at the time of the publication of Noam Chomsky's, so there's another thing. Noam Chomsky used to be a very astute critic of both the left and the right. Now, in his modern times, he supports with blindly intersection. Well, he did say intersectionality is just used as nothing but a catchphrase by Democrats, and they haven't cared about the working class in years. I agree with that. But in his old age, I think this SJW and identity politics stuff, I think he would have more criticism towards it if he was the young Chomsky, because he would have been more astute, and people are going like, oh, well, Chomsky's saying this, so everything else he said is wrong. That's not true. You can age. You can say just because he's wrong now doesn't mean he was wrong about his foreign policy stuff. His foreign policy stuff's really good.
Well,
it's very quality.
Over time, so.
Yeah, well, he's decayed kind of mentally. You can kind of tell. So he's kind of stuck in his own generation. And so, there's other scholars like him, and he's not the only one you can go to. I mean, I like his work on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, for the obvious reason that I have a diverse set of heritages. Anatolian, so Scythian blood in me. I'm descended from snake people, according to, and Hercules, according to, like, mythology. Because my friend tracks bloodlines based on Greek mythology, and he actually more accurately predicted my DNA than a DNA test. And the DNA Egyptian, Southern, Northern Italian, everything, Arab, North African, I've got everything. So I'm walking diversity. I checked a lot of boxes. But I don't think we should be running our society around who checks a lot of boxes. Now back to this Republican thing. So I wonder what the tactic is here, because there's got to be a tactic. This is a tactic, showing us who created the QAnon movement. Now I'm not saying QAnon's real. I don't think it was. I think he was taking advantage of the fact that patterns repeat. So if you want a bit of an example of QAnon, let's go look up some QAnon here. We're gonna use probably DuckDuckGo, I think, if we can, if it'll let us. I don't think it will. We might have to just go to DuckDuckGo. Yeah, there we go. DuckDuckGo company.
It is late right now.
And so we're gonna go here, and we're just gonna look up QAnon, and we'll just. Alright, so I'll just read you the Wikipedia article real fast. So then I'm going to make the text larger. I don't know how it'll show up on a video when people see it, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to make the text way larger. And if you look at this, there's all this stuff. So QAnon is a far right. It's not far right. Some of the far right are in it. But I know a lot of people are in it that are just kind of middle of the road. There are some just normal conspiracy types. It's not a far-right conspiracy. It's a movement centered around false claims made by an anonymous individual or individuals known by the name of Q. That a cabal of satanic, cannibalistic pedophiles operate. Now, just to note, there were arrests of several pedophiles in high positions of power. I'm not saying that is a fact. High positions of power, they have been caught. And the Podesta emails are suspicious. Now, I'm not saying Pizzagate or anything, but I'm just going to say, what was the code for? It was definitely code. What was the code in those leaked WikiLeaks emails for? I'm not saying he was sacrificing babies to the devil. I'm not saying anything crazy. I do want to know what the Podesta emails were for.
And what were the exact quotes?
Okay, so he said he wanted some cheese pizza and some hot dogs, $40,000 worth, delivered to the White House that night. It's from the leaked WikiLeaks Podesta emails.
$40 worth?
40,000, 40K. So, I mean, like, what are you paying for with that much money? That's my curiosity. I'm just, like, very wondering as to what the hell that is.
I thought
so they're saying it's tied to there are anti-Semites in that group, but I used to be kind of into it at one point. I fell for it at one point. But it was more I like conspiracy theories, and I'm very paranoid, so I'll get into it. And I was thinking, Trump might be this or might actually not do this. I thought Trump might support Palestine. He didn't. He just let Israel annex the whole place. But, in general, I had some hope, too. I mean, I was thinking maybe, just maybe it's real. There'll be sealed indictments and maybe not a pedophile ring, but I was thinking something different. You guys can't see the Wikipedia article at all, but that's cool because I was just trying to explain to him. This is just kind of a test show, by the way, guys. So, what we're going to do, actually, real quick, is we're just going to, we're just basically going to, we're gonna wrap this up here, basically.
Gabby Petito.
The Gabby Petito case. So that is something I definitely want to talk about. So we're gonna whoop up to here, and maybe that should be scaled down a little bit. I don't want them seeing our faces too good, and then just center it a little bit. And now we are centered. So, basically what we're getting at here is the Gabby Petito case. Dog the Bounty Hunter, according to various sources, TMZ and whatnot, he's going on the run, on the search for the murder of Gabby Petito. One of his daughters says he's genuine. He's genuine. His other daughter says it's just a pathetic attempt on his part to stay relevant in a society that doesn't care. But I don't know. I'm not going to judge the guy. I don't know the guy. I know he made racist comments before. Norm Macdonald made a funny joke. He's like, you're a bounty hunter. They say swear like a sailor, all right? He's talking to this guy, and he said, we've known some bounty hunters. I mean, bounty hunters swear all the time. It's like, Your reputation is that you hunt down criminals in the middle of the night, break into their hotel rooms, and take them back for violating bond.
I've seen videos of him swearing.
Oh, I mean, he swears like he says you're a dirty crackhead and all that, and then I saw this thing, he's like talking about how this is the best help God can give you, and I am for prison reform, jail reform, all that. If you've ever been to jail or you ever
not punishment and torture.
Well, that's what it is now. It's punishment and torture. It's not like think about what's the difference between justice and revenge. In our society, there is none. When the conservative politicians, you say what you're gonna say.
I was saying it was based off of punishments. It's not really our prison system is flawed. There's a lot of flawed things about it. Torturing people by putting them in the hole. Mentally ill people they're put in the hole.
And I was just talking about that earlier when I tried to shoot this alone. I was pointing out that the Matt thing is what I highly disagree with. The commissary, that makes sense. They need to kind of take away some privileges, but. You should always be entitled to your mat, and I think you should get
you should
get phones. Like everyone should have access to phones. They should always be able to talk to outside relatives. I mean, if someone's hogging a phone, and
you can't deprive somebody of this human
like the human interaction like that. And my story, which I don't want to get into, but I've visited a jail, and we'll call it a scared straight program. And I was in there for a very long time. I got to see what solitary was like firsthand, and it's not pleasant. It is not humane. I did not come out of there any better than I did than I was. I'm good now, but I'm just saying.
And it brings us back to the fact that it's torture, really.
It's torture. It's a revenge. Yeah, that's what I was saying in my other video. It's a torture system. It's a revenge system. It's not a good, happy. We're gonna just blah 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 system. It's really bad. Now and the thing is, the dog doesn't respect people on drugs, and the idea in our culture is that they don't deserve respect, but we've acknowledged that it's a mental disorder, a psychiatric illness. It's a disease, and I don't think it's a chronic disease. I think it's a mental disorder, and it's a severe psychiatric disorder. And I think when you they act like they failed their families. It's like, okay, well, if it's really that bad, it's a disease, then they didn't fail their families. They caught a disease, and it infected the rest of their family.
Maybe more neurological.
It's more of a neurological sort of bias that is induced by the proximate. So when you do any kind of dopaminergic drug, right, you get a proximate and distal effects. So Imagine when you do the drug, that's the midline. Now, lateral can be on either side, away from the midline. So, say you took it at 12 o'clock, exactly 12 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So then, say that that's the midline. That's when you took it. Now, the lateral portion forward, at like 4 o'clock, everything you do up to like, maybe 12 o'clock that night, maybe possibly even 4 o'clock the next day, everything you do is going to be associated with positiveness. And, you're going to have pleasure in doing it. You're going to have all those effects are going to be there. And it's going to be very like, it's going to be quite the tragedy. And then even things you did before you did the drugs, like getting the drugs and all that, that's also in your brain going to be associated with happiness.
Yeah.
So the problem is that all those behaviors are now associated, and your brain, we haven't evolved to adapt to the idea that there were no selection pressures that motivated the human brain to distinguish between neurotransmitters it generates itself and neurotransmitters that are generated by outside interactions. Other animals have developed some capacity towards that. When rats are socialized well, they'll do meth once and then treat it like any other poison and avoid it.
Right.
But whereas humans, we're the only ones that consume. There are instances of animals consuming like fermented fruits and alcohol. And pufferfish can get dolphins high. But aside from that, you got this interesting situation where like we have this it's just kind of a dichotomy. Like, is it a disease? Are you responsible? Diseases alleviate you of personal responsibility.
I will say that in my personal opinion, and you can disagree with me, that I think that if you want to do that, that's your thing. And if you want help, then get help. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, just same with alcohol. It's legal. And,
Yeah.
we have people that are alcoholics, and we're okay with that. 6 people die of alcohol poisoning like every day.
I mean, nicotine.
Yeah, nicotine.
Nicotine's addictive. But yeah,
I think it's the most. I've never done a drug that's more addictive.
I don't think I have.
I
was
can't.
going to mention that actually. But.
Yeah. It's just, and then the way he dogged the bounty hunter, I was watching. I might link it in the description, but like I was watching and Dog the Bounty Hunter, man. Oh Jesus, Jesus, man.
What I don't like about how people treat drug addicts is that they'll treat them like they're better, like the people that are sober are better than them, instead of actually getting them help. And
yeah, they think they lord over you like you did something wrong, and it's like I like when I started experimenting with drugs, which most people have. I was at age 16, and I was a dumb kid, and I wasn't even I couldn't drink, so I was not in the frame of mind to make decisions. So that's not my fault. I didn't choose it. No one wakes up one day and says, "Oh, I want to be a drug addict." It's a gradual process of it goes for experimentation, and experimentation is fine, but when it goes beyond that, that's the problem.
Recreational use, I think, is fine, but like I said, you should,
you should moderate that recreational use.
Yeah, moderation. Yeah, that's the best.
It should always be in moderation.
But yeah, it's
our judicial system's set up to make people, I think, like, for example, my current lawsuit that might be pending is going to be against how they treat people in these institutions, because they discharge people unreasonably. They do all these things. It's terrible how they treat them, and it's like they want them to be sick. And I think that might be something to do with if you're cured, they can't bill your insurance for like Suboxone or whatever they take and all those drugs. That bug is annoying, but
if you can hear it, it's like.
Yeah, I don't think they can hear it. I think the mic levels are pretty good because it's going all the way up. So, and we're from a distance. This is a nice mic. I like it. So then I'll put the headset back on. I'll listen once we got this done, and we'll see if it's good.
Jail and prison for drugs, I don't agree with.
Yeah, and then like now I will admit, lot of the episode I was watching of I haven't watched Dog the Bounty Hunter in a while, but the episode I was watching, they did have other offenses like assault. They were like career criminals kind of, but a lot of them were just scared tweakers, and they were calling tweakers. And I'm like, dude, they're scared that you are set up. Bounty hunters come. Do you think they're educated enough to distinguish between bounty hunters and informants and FBI agents and whatnot?
And that's another thing when it comes to drugs, education. You know, if you're gonna recreationally use something, be educated about it.
Yeah, that's the problem. The people when it's not legal, it comes from black markets. Black markets are usually found in like ghettos and stuff. And I'm not like relegating that to any particular racial group. I'm saying white ghettos, black ghettos, French ghettos, any ghetto is gonna have crime and drugs. It's just how it works.
It's called the ghetto for a reason.
It's called a ghetto for a reason, yeah. And so when you have distributors coming across the border, and that is where most of it comes from, through Mexico. They talk about undocumented citizens, but that's where the drug problem starts. And that leads me to believe that when we have the Democrats and the conservatives bickering about like the border crisis, neither of them want to do anything about it. They want to help the immigrants. They don't want to. They I almost feel like they encourage them to come over so that the cartels have access. Because I think corporate America, they have to take into account because my mom was in business intelligence, right? And they take into account crazy factors in research and development. They have all these economic plots, and they have all these dimensional modeling and hyperincubated, all this stuff. Wow. It's really fancy, and so some aspects of the corporate sector have to be taking into account black market information, so that they can figure out how that influences them, and then they kind of control it, I think. Because if you're a manufacturer of like pseudoephedrine, yeah, I could see where you would want lax policies on it. You'd want, because less sales for you if the government puts more restrictions on pseudoephedrine. So when we put the restrictions on the chemicals to make meth, it's like there's going to be corporate lobbyists that are going to take account of that. They're going, oh, profit loss, oh my God. So it's like, then you look at the judicial system and the medical system. The medical system, every patient they cure is a customer lost. That's a quote from a Tom
Yeah,
McDonald
that makes
song.
a lot of sense. I mean,
they want to bill your insurance for whatever things and whatever medications and all that. Then when they're done with you, they just, you're bye.
Not cured.
Yeah, not cured at all. They have like most rehabs. I was told by someone that they have like a really good. It depends on the rehab. Yeah, like one or two rehabs have a really high success rate, but most of them have like a 6%.
Yeah, most of them don't have a high success rate.
Not at all. Not at all, Ray. Not at all.
Studied and read, yeah. But so about the Gabby Petito case, what do you think about that?
Well, my thoughts are that I was just gonna say. Dog the Bounty Hunter that was my segue into Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's just doing that whole search thing.
But do you think the dude's guilty?
I don't know. We don't have enough information to decide. All we know is that he's missing and she was strangled, and that he was a travel blogger. And at least from my understanding, he was a travel blogger. And then she was found choked, and I think in a shallow grave.
Okay.
And
it is a sad case, but I don't know if he.
I heard one guy say maybe he shot himself, and that's why I can't find him. Maybe he went to
that's what I'm
wondering,
if he shot himself or.
Even if he wasn't guilty, imagine if he was like going on his way to the police station because he's like trying to contact someone. He stops at like a bar or something, or like it's been a while. He's in a remote location because he's a travel blogger. I don't know where they were at. But maybe he drives somewhere, and then like maybe by that point the body had been discovered. He sees on the news that everyone thinks it's him, that he's a suspect. He freaks out, goes to a remote location, blows his head off because he didn't really do it.
Man, I will say this.
What if he got attacked or something? We don't know.
You never know what can happen in the woods,
Yeah, you never know.
Very dangerous. I've seen horror stories, or heard horror stories about it.
Yeah, we don't know. Someone else could have come, attacked his girlfriend, attacked him. He might have barely made it away alive, and then
they're just gonna instantly assume it's him.
Yeah, they're gonna instantly assume it's him, and it may well be. I haven't really looked at the evidence for the Gabby Petito case, So I don't know much about it, but I'm just saying, don't immediately habeas corpus. He's innocent until he's proven
Yeah,
guilty.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
That's what we need,
No.
and I think that's something we're losing with like the Me Too movement and stuff. Because in the Me Too movement, it was meant, I think, for you to not instantly dismiss victims. It's become always believe the victim, and that threatens.
Yeah, that is a very big issue actually. Always believe the victim. I mean, the victim can definitely lie.
Like, and people can be wrongfully accused, like Nicky Harris. That's a good example. But Gian Gomeshi, there's a lot of people who've been accused of. There's this one really young guy. I think he was in prison at 22, and 27 after that prison sentence. He the victim, the alleged victim, came out and said that it didn't happen. She lied.
That's horrible.
And he was released. She didn't get charges though. I think she should have gotten charges.
Yeah, she should.
My girlfriend knows someone actually who did do that same thing, and she did get charges for
Yeah,
it.
you're supposed to get charged for it.
I don't know. A lot of them don't.
You're not allowed to lie in court. That's a big thing.
Yeah, but in court, like if you're on, for threat of perjury, but they can use an excuse like, "Well, I was uncomfortable and I thought it was like this or that." Or
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, and I feel like I don't want to say women, but I feel like a lot of women.
Women, because we're worshiping victims nowadays. I think not just women,
Try to
but men.
victimize themselves.
Yeah, women, not just men. They have to have some sort of sob story in order to feel like people will listen to them.
Yeah.
I think that's something people are underplay. I think that's why postmodernism and post-structuralism take off, is because it allows you to have your marginalized victim card without having to go crazy with it or lie about being raped. I knew plenty of people, and I proved it. I looked and I checked sex offender registry, asked parents. Girl was lying. She had never been raped, and it was monstrous.
That's horrible.
And I know because there's some telltale signs. If someone's been raped, they're not going to come out instantly and tell you that. You have to be, good friends, close friends for several months before that. And that's even probably too early. But I've known three people who were legitimately, I know they were raped. One was raped by her brother when he was like 12. He was put into foster care. That's usually what they do. And she didn't come out to me with that until way later, man. I mean, it was way different. I mean, it was just.
So I have a question for you. What do you think about the male privilege that's going on?
Male privilege? I don't think, considering everyone's bitching about male privilege, I would have to say men don't have that much privilege. Other than the privilege to get HR called on you if you ask a coworker for coffee.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of crazy. The concept of male, I've never got, there's privileges you do get as a male. I mean, women have to worry more about their appearance, and I will concede that point.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, that makes sense. They do have to, and that's why social media is so hard on young girls, because it basically makes them before you would have only been seen by a few people, like in the 1970s, the 80s, but now you're seen by like hundreds of people. If you're on like TikTok, you just upload videos. My girlfriend gets like hundreds of views. On the one thing, she's got like 10K views.
10K.
Yeah, so I mean, imagine what that does to a girl's psyche when she's like famous.
I heard a story. I think it was one of the stories I like to listen to. I like to listen to horror stories.
Yeah.
So this girl, I can't remember how it ended, but she had like what was that called? Instagram. She had an Instagram account, and it was like very like popular on it, and she would. A dude said dye her hair red. She dyed her hair red. She changed the clothes. She started, I think she gained anorexia, eventually,
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
It'll happen because they look at those other people.
and so women are very. I don't know. Is it fragile? Is that the right word?
No, the women are. This is a fact that Jordan Peterson's covered a lot. And I've also I fact checked him on this, and it's true. We've known this for a long time. University of Arizona is my source. I can link it in the description. Basically, women are higher in trait neuroticism.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And they're more sensitive to negative emotion. So, on average, some men are more sensitive. Some women are less sensitive. But people high in neuroticism typically, and they're more agreeable. So those two mixed together, they're easily guilted as a result.
Yeah.
So it's easier to guilt them into doing things. And then also it's easier to make them insecure. So because of the empathy and the insecurity, it's very easy to manipulate young girls, especially because they're going through so much hormonal change and all that. So when they see these things, these shortcuts to get approval that they might not have gotten from their family, they'll instantly jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, that's the thing how people raise their children nowadays too.
They don't even give them supervised internet, but you can't blame the previous generation. I mean, look, the internet didn't start till the '90s. Like it was like new when I was born. And it developed from the Usenet. I did a paper on this called The Computer Revolution. And it was about the computer revolution. The transistor, it started in 1948 at AT&T's Bell Labs. And ever since then, we've had Moore's Law. Computers got more powerful because they managed to shrink the size of transistors every 2 years, so it doubles the computing power basically.
Shit, okay.
And we're running to the end of Moore's Law because we're getting close to atom sizes. At least that's what I heard.
Wow.
And basically, the thing is, when you get to that kind of thing, it's it's some crazy stuff because the computer evolution, it resulted in this huge, rapidly developing system, and you think it's like the library. It's not like the library. There's terrible things because it allows the transmission of audio, video, and text, not just text. So back in the day, you could read whatever you wanted. That's fine. But I don't know about letting your kids watch gore, go on TikTok, and all that stuff.
No,
They see
that should
it
be
without at least proper guidance and telling them, hey, look, most of those people on there, they're fake. Don't feel insecure. Don't worry about it.
Or getting knowledge, knowledge is very...
knowledge is power.
Far less
Quality of
information.
information dictates to the quality of behavior. So if you know...
What's going to happen?
When I look at movies and I see Vin Diesel, he's got these huge muscles and whatnot. I don't know how much of that's his actual physique, how much of that's added in, how much maybe.
Yeah, dude.
You don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's fit, but it's even so, even if he is, I know that's not realistically achievable without extreme austerities on my part. Going to the gym, lifting all weights and all that. That's the big thing. So I would just have to say that some men get anorexia too, but I think it's less common because men are more disagreeable, so they're more they look at something and they get mad if the other guy's more attractive. They're just trying to do it some other way.
And that's the way nature works, honestly.
It's kind of like if the man's better than them, the other dude just gets mad. They compete, but possibly physically.
Yeah,
And that physical threat of violence is what gets, things kind of under control, I would say, more amongst men. Because, it's like when you have a bunch of competitive men and they're all, it's a Pareto distribution. So, in a society where it's laissez-faire and there's no monogamy, socially enforced monogamy, there's 20% of, or approximately, it'd be more like if you had 100 men, or if you had if you have 10,000 people, or is that right? 10,000. Let me think here. 100 times 100 is 10. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's 10,000.
That's 10,000, right?
100 times 100.
Well, 10 squared is 100, and then 100 squared would probably be 10,000, I think. Because you just add two zeros to 100, and then you have 10000. Yeah, 10,000. Because you then go 000 and add a comma. Yeah, 10,000. So out of 10,000 people, 100 will get all the women. That's how it works. So around 20% will get all the women. You take the square root of the people, approximately. That's an approximation, not a good one, but it's so if there's say you're in a dorm and it's like kind of set up like an apartment. There's 25 people there, and say that the majority of them are women, right? There's a lot of women there. I don't know what percentage, but we'll just say there's a substantial amount of women. All of those women will gravitate towards the 5 men out of that 25 group.
Well, yeah, because there's the more women versus more men there is, they lower their standards. I think I'm not 100% sure about that, but they will gravitate towards the 5 men that you know.
And it's interesting. So then what happens is male violence. That's the anthropological data suggests that male violence will then increase because basically when you have men competing for reproductive access to a woman and also romantic interest. I'm not trying to objectify them. I'm just saying reproductive access sounds rather clinical and cold, but the reality is that's what some of them are antisocial, some of them just want to be with someone and form a romantic partnership. And it's a human necessity, essentially. They deeply crave it. So when you have that and there's only there's those 5 people, the other people will team up and they'll probably kill those people. I mean, if it was just a tribe, they'd be dead.
Tribe, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they'd definitely be dead. Because the other men would team up and kill them. So that's why marriage was instituted, because it lowered the rate of violence in society.
Really? Okay.
That's the most likely reason, is because monogamy. There's a biologist that talks about it. On Vox, he's given the least screen time. But there's this concept called paternal uncertainty. So when you have tribal societies sometimes had a polyamorous setup, right? That polyamorous setup was like they would have sex. Everyone would have sex with the same girl, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was like they're very free love kind of thing. But then no one knew who the actual father was. And so then no one gave a shit about the baby.
That makes sense.
So then, since due to paternal uncertainty, no one gave a shit about the baby.
If marriage was implemented,
then it reduced male violence, because then, and the women conducted this research, by the way. This was not a male-conducted study. The anthropological data comes from female people studying tribal societies, female anthropologists. And the Vox said that since all the fathers are involved, it maximized the productivity of the kid. Actually, no, it was quite the opposite. It was a detriment to the kid. A severe detriment, no less. Very severe detriment. Because, the dude would come, the one kid described his, the strong man, that was, so the one dude was banging his wife, the strong dude was, and the kid's like uncle or relative was fighting this guy, and they'd get into fights over it. And one day one of the kids was crying, and he said, "Shut the fuck up," or something, his native language. And after the kid wouldn't shut up, he just took him, slammed his head against a tree, killed him. Because he didn't know if it was his kid or not. He didn't give a shit. Okay. So that's how accurate Vox was on that one. That's basic anthropology. I mean, like, we know this. We've known this for years. It's called enforced monogamy, and it's almost universal, except in polyamorous tribal societies. So, like, it's like every society has their own form of marriage of some sort, from Islamic to whatever. It doesn't really matter. But, yeah. You think that's a good point to end it off?
Yeah, I'm falling asleep, so I should probably end it off.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we're gonna end this off with a few.
Peace, guys.
Yeah, peace, guys. We're gonna just the podcast is ending soon. We hope you have a nice day. Please subscribe, like, and comment this video. If you want to see more, at least. Yep. We're ending the stream.